So kia ora everyone and welcome. Oh, I had to make sure I wasn't on mute. And welcome to our Whanau Freedom Project. My name is Tracy B and I'm super excited that you're here tonight. Thanks for taking time out of your evening and joining us tonight. Now, before we start all of our events, we start it with a karakia. So I'll just get you to bow your head and then we'll start our journey. E tātua manaaki me mātou I tēnei pō, homai kia mātou te kaha me te karorea, ake, āmene. So kia ora. Thanks everyone for joining us. And like I said before, my name is Tracy B and this is our Whanau Freedom Project and it is exactly all about that. It's about whānau and creating freedom within our community and all over the globe. As far as we can reach, that's our mission and our message. I've been on a journey myself, as you will hear from some people tonight who've also been on a journey, and I think that's just life. Life is a journey, right? But I think as society, we seem to stray away from trying to help one another. And we're all out there just trying to look after ourselves, which is cool. I get that. But I think if we really want to help one another, in that sense, we get what we want as well, which ultimately is love, I believe. That's my belief. And I think that as a society, like I said before, we're strayed so far from love. Some of us don't even know what love is anymore. They attach it to something physical or tangible, like, I don't know, like it's not a metaphysical thing. It's love of something that you can't take with you. And so that's kind of the core of what this is all about, what Whanau Freedom is about, is bringing the community together through love and spirituality. And community. And I am from Aotearoa. I'm living here in Melbourne, and I will admit I haven't been home for a really long time. It's probably been 3 or 4 years, but I was very blessed to be brought up in a really, really big family. My mum is one of 15, and so you can imagine there's lots of whānau time, lots of cousins that we're brought up with, and it was a very big, large community of whānau pulling together. And I will admit, since being away, I've been in Australia since 2001, I miss that. I really do miss that. I miss, having something big happen in my life and not being able to share that with my whānau physically, like be with them and say, this is what's going on and have a hug and all that kind of stuff. So I love that. I don't know if that's all over the world, but I do know as Māori and as our culture, we do pull together as a community. And I know I haven't been home for a long time, but what I've seen on the tabloids and on the news and all that kind of stuff, it's not as tight-knit anymore. And actually, Miri shared something today on, she tagged me into a chat with a fella. It's going to tear me up. I left New Zealand because of drugs. I got into it big time, like to the point where I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. I looked in the mirror one day. I remember looking in the mirror and going, who are you? Who are you? Like, this isn't you, Tracy B. And I left. And like, I'm so blessed I'm so glad I left. I don't have any regrets of leaving everything behind. But when Miri showed that video today, the problem was what I saw back then. It wasn't good, but this fellow was talking about young children, like in their teens, that were getting into the same drugs that I was, and that broke my heart. And it kind of brought back what this message and what this community is about. It's about us, of course, but it's our tamariki and it's the ones that we're bringing up. We're meant to be their inspiration and their guides, and it's getting lost somewhere. And so that's what I really wanted this to be about, is just bringing us all together as adults, able to share and know that we're not alone and we can help one another, but show our tamariki that there's a better way. I don't know how that's going to work. I didn't even know how this Whanau Freedom Project was ever going to happen, but I knew years ago I saw something like this happening, and just, you know, through my journey and step by step, things came together and Whanau Freedom Project was put together. So I don't know how this can help the tamariki and I can see it happening, but it's just going to be a step by step. But what I saw today is massively why I've put this community together. And so every week that we present to you guys, we're going to bring people that are doing something inspirational, something they're absolutely passionate about, and something that is changing people's lives. We're going to hear from Miri tonight, who's a very close friend of mine now, and I've just seen, she's amazing. She knows so much stuff, and you know what, she's so intuitive that sometimes she picks up on the stuff that I'm going through, and she'll message me and she'll go, is this going on for you? And I love that I have that connection with someone and that she cares enough to reach out to help others. And so you're going to hear from Miri tonight, and then you're going to hear from another friend, Mataora, I'm a big fan of Mataora. I've watched him over the last few months, and what I can see is he does a lot of stuff with the community and a lot of stuff with kids. And like I said before, tamariki are our future, and especially us Māori culture, and I think it's really, really important that we encourage them, but we embrace them and we love them and we keep them safe. So that's a big part of what Whanau Freedom is about. I don't want to see our children, you know, passing that on and passing on. It has to stop somewhere. And like this fella said in this live today, was it starts with us. And that's why we are here today. So I'm very, very proud to be a part of this crew, and I thank you all for joining us tonight. Miri and Mataora, who are going to share with us, super stoked, and really, really, I feel blessed that I've attracted such amazing people into this crew. So I want to thank you very much, and thanks for sharing that with me, Miri, today, because that really did bring home why this community is so, so important to all of us. So with that said, that's my little blurb today. I want to pass it over to my friend Miri, and she's going to share with you some stuff that's been really, she's been practicing a lot lately, and she did a little live yesterday that kind of teased a little bit about what I saw, what this chat's going to be about, which I thought was cool. So I'll pass it over to you, babe.
Kia ora everyone, and thank you for that, Tracy. Oh, look at my phone. I see two of me. I don't know what view I'm on this thing, but I can't see everybody else, but I can see two of me. That's awesome. So I'll just stand here and talk to myself. Kia ora to those of you who don't know me. Thank you to the ones that could make it along tonight. Really, really pleased to have you here. And also for those who will be watching the recording, thank you for taking the time to want to make the difference, to find out ways that we can draw closer together and that we can have little tips and tricks and ways of sharing with one another that can empower us and give us a little bit more belief around who we are and how we can have a better life that's full of happiness and abundance and all of those things. So what I was going to share with the group today, while I've got the talking stick, is that Tracy B and I actually met through a whole food movement that we're both interested in, and you can ask us about that at another time. But part of what comes with that is a program, and this program rolls out lots of other little challenges or ideas and things that you can latch onto while you're going about trying to have a healthier lifestyle for your family. So this month has been, whoa, what a month it has been for me. It's been a big one. So I thought I'd share with everyone some of the challenges that I faced and the things that I went through, and then we'll move on to Mataora, because I'm sure you're all dying to hear what he's got to share. So the things that came up for me this month, I decided to grab onto a 30-day gratitude program or gratitude challenge. So every day we were looking at different elements of gratitude. And the other thing that I latched onto was, which I've actually been doing these 30-day exercise challenges, because I really need to find ways with my supposedly busy lifestyle. You know, Mataora has some views about time. It's not, you know, it's not as limited as we make it out sometimes. So, you know, being conscious and putting aside that time to do things that are good for me and for my body and my life, and it set a good example for my daughter, and that have benefits for my partner as well. You can read between the lines there. So anyway, what happened with the months previous is we did squat challenges and planking challenges, and this month the winner of the previous month's challenge, the person who had been the most dedicated, so this was my way of sort of trying to get my friends involved and keep myself motivated, and you know, let that stuff ripple out to them as well. So my friend Debbie, who had won the previous month's challenge of being the most committed, she chose that we would do this abs and squat challenge, and I thought, okay, yeah, you know, I'll give it a go. I've done squatting and I've done planking, so I can do this. So it started out pretty light. You did 5 lots of 5 lots of sit-ups, 5 lots of crunches, and then 5 squats, and then it sort of went to 10 or something like that, and then there was a rest day in there every now and then it just started to jump up quite significantly. And I got to the point where I sort of had to stop and take stock, and I did a post on Facebook about it going, wow, I just did like 20 sit-ups. I didn't know I could do that, and I realized that just by chipping away over that time, you know, from someone that had gone from having all the excuses of like, oh, my neck and my back, my shoulders, I could have possibly, you know, that I was doing it. Oh my goodness, I'm actually doing it. And I'm like, how did I get here? I took the steps, and now I'm here. So I was really proud of that. So last night we completed that 30-day challenge, and my friend Sally is the only other person who hung in there the entire time. And that 30-day challenge ended with 40 sit-ups, 100 crunches, and 100 squats. And I will admit to being like slightly on the hallucinating side by the time I finished, and there was a little bit of complaining, and you know, I really felt it today. Looking forward to the rest day tomorrow. But I just, for anyone that is thinking about whether or not they could set aside the time each day, it didn't take long. For anyone that was worried about, you know, oh, I can't get to the gym, blah, 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 excuses, stories, all that stuff, I had to lose it, and I did it, and I want to do more, and I'm just absolutely so stoked and so excited that I did it, because it's given me that momentum. So I wanted to share that, because that's something really positive that happened for me for the month, and it's something that I think anyone can do if I can do it. And the other part of it, while that was all happening, I had the gratitude challenge going as well. So what I'd done is asked if anybody else wanted to join in, and I created a little chat, and each day I put up the exercises. So basically each day we would take time, you know, the challenge was to make that time, to make that priority. So each day we would set aside some time and space to reflect on the things that we're grateful for. And for me, you know, straight away it was about how wonderful and loving and charming my roller is, and he gave me the broom. And then, you know, my family and how I have a warm home, and all of those things. That was really cool. But what was actually really awesome is, because I had that group, I actually got to draw closer to or learn more about some of the people that, like my cousins. I got to see what was important to them through them sharing their gratitude exercises. And I actually started to notice a lot more. And I think, you know, I've heard a lot about gratitude, you know, and it's like, yeah, like I get it, we're grateful. I'm grateful, but when you do the exercises, you really do get something from it. So I'm so pleased that I did, because it's given me a new perspective on things, and it's another one of those little things that if somebody wanted to make a big shift in their life in terms of positivity and attracting more good stuff and being like a bit more of a rock for their family, then this is the thing for you. So that's, you know, just another one of the things that I really enjoyed doing this month, to try and lift myself and my family and my friends up. And I feel like it was a success. And I also feel like I came across a few things that I was resistant to, and I had to look at them. So that's been really cool. And now I would actually like to talk to my lovely friend Mataora. I've got some questions for him, but I'm going to go closer to my computer so that I can actually see what it is that we talked about, so that I stay on topic, because there's a lot of light there. There's my roller in the background. Okay, so if Tracy B would be the one to put Mataora on for us, that would be awesome. Oh, you've unmuted yourself. There you go. Kia ora, Mataora. Oh no, he's muted, unmuted. There we go.
Kia ora, everyone. Thank you for the beautiful sharing, ladies. And it's a pleasure to be here and to be able to share as well knowledge and information that I feel that's able to really help all of us, you know, to some degree.
Cool. Thank you. So obviously we've done the whole blurb about how this is for us to be happy and healthy and uplift one another and try and, you know, help our whānau towards a life that's more fulfilled. So with that in mind, I thought we could ask you a few questions on behalf of the type of people that are wanting to know more about the importance of getting moving. Someone like me that knew it was important but didn't necessarily always do it, perhaps. So when it comes to the mind, body and spirit, my first question would be, why bother to exercise or take up a martial art? I mean, aside from the superficial, going to look awesome or whatever, what benefit is there from your experience?
Well, I mean, there's no separation. You could say, just to start off the picture, we could say we take a glove, and that glove is our body, the image of our body. And if we just have that glove sitting on the table, lifeless, doing nothing, then that's exactly what reflects in our life. So we need to put some spirit into it, and motion and movement. And that's the spirit, or the hand, entering into the glove and giving it life and movement and freedom. So I believe that that's why it's the most important aspect. And I'd like to also add, in contrast to that, is that when we look at light, you know, which we often say is about movement and freedom and knowledge and so forth, it's movement. So basically movement is the key to every aspect, to our body and to our spirituality and to the lightness and freedom of our minds, you know, to be enlightened with knowledge. So putting all those three realms together, movement is a key to them all. And physical motion can really help us bring that spirit out in us. You know, you can see it in dance, you know, whatever kind of dance, you can just see movement and fluidity. You can see it in Tai Chi and in martial arts, and the explosion of a movement. So movement is key, and it really is a reflection of the insides of us. So taking up martial arts, yoga, qigong, Tai Chi, even dance and other things alike, it can help us, number one, for me, attune and connect those aspects together, the spirit and the body together. And that's very important, because as soon as we have that connection within ourselves, then we're able to have greater connections with our partners, our children, our family, friends, and just create a beautiful, you know, dance or tango of leading, being led, following, and being followed, you know. So that's why I think movement is key. And martial arts is, for me personally as well, being masculine and it being quite a masculine practice, really helps me as a person to shine in my masculinity and so forth, but then be able to bring in the masculine energy, the feminine energy that comes through as well, of teaching you compassion, how to be reserved and care. So that's the main thing about martial arts, is the attunement, connecting those two aspects together. Now also work in space. So in your workspaces and play areas as well, it teaches you about good posture, the key to posture. And I think these are very preventative measures to health. And my objective is in how you mentioned that I spend time with children. This is my key to teach children is correct posture early, because they're picking up bad posture from their parents, their aunties, uncles, generally the adults around, and they may be picking things up poorly or doing repetitive motion in a way, or using only one side of their body, or reaching across like this when they could just go like this, You can see how much stress that's required in the two different actions to do the same thing. So understanding this kind of knowledge, learning posture and learning the crossovers, and it really is good for the brain and teaches you how to use your body correctly without putting it in any stress unnecessarily. So that's what martial arts has taught me, to put so much stress on your body and handle it, and not get pain and discomfort from it. So those are very powerful aspects. That's why I would suggest to do these kinds of things, to do martial arts, yoga, tai chi. You get control. Your core becomes centered.
Out of that, I was going to ask you also, we've been seeing that there's quite a lot of, we're seeing a renaissance back towards some of the Māori forms of movement, kapahaka, taiaha, other Māori martial arts crazes with the cool music and the nice videos on Facebook, all that stuff. In your opinion, why do you think adults and children are choosing to connect to their culture and through that form of movement? And in your experience, what impact is that having on their lives?
Yeah, that's quite a big question, and I believe it's a part of it is, about belonging, coming back and connecting to our roots, and kind of correcting history to some degree as well. These are all key parts to a healthy individual, is by having a healthy society as well, and feeling the empowerment of our culture. Also, a lot of the kapahaka and even the movements of the gods as well, which is really awesome, and really support that the Māori Movement Act that's going around. It's beautiful. So want to be a part of that. And the thing about it is that it actually tells us story and gives us history, tells us about our ancestors, people that have done certain acts to keep certain information alive for us as Māori, or keeping beautiful messages, putting beautiful message across. These are all hidden in the waiata or in the haka as well, remembrance, in other words. And so that's why it's very powerful as well. So it creates that belonging and connection to our ancestors and why we stand here today. So that's about the cultural aspect as well, and I think it can be found in all areas, and I think it's a great movement. And not only that, it helps us remember movements and parts that help us connect back to our body as well, Yeah. So that's the main thing, I believe, is about connecting with our stories, keeping our history alive, and moving our body at the same time, and feeling connected to Rangawawa, we say, our belonging, connected to the earth through our history, our whakapapa, our knowledge. Yeah, and that's why I think it's wonderful, and it's so great to see. So it's really been since 1980 that there's been a revive in Māori ways and tikana Māori and the Māori language, te reo Māori, and it's growing, and it's a wonderful thing to see. Yeah.
Tautoko. I second that emotion. So Tracy B put the question in the chat, and I already had it in mind to ask you anyway, for anyone that was wanting to get moving. You're a busy guy, you work, you've got tamariki, you work amongst the community, there's so many things that you do. How do you get your tamariki moving? What do you do?
Really better than how you said it earlier. They just start out small at first. I mean, for me, I've always been like a bit of an energy bunny and stuff like that. I've always had lots of energy. So martial arts has actually kept me chilled and centered. It's been my blowout where I can just go in and had a bag. Basically, for me, martial arts kept me really consistent. I'd go there, and if I was feeling a little bit down or depressed, at the end I'd just totally have dropped it and let go of it. And then if I was feeling sick, even like a bit even headachy, I'd turn up, and then by the end of it, it's all gone. I just feel back reset. And so that's what martial art. That was great driving forces for me, and that's the key: is start out simple and feed it. Feed it with positive vibes like that. For example, how I always feel good from doing exercise. A lot of people have the mentality to think, I feel tired after exercise. It may only be that for a short amount of time. For me, I get energized from doing exercise, and that's motivation in itself. Looking at key times for you, like a lot of people say there's not enough time, and that's where you say there's funny things about time, where I've always been taught early morning's the best time for training, centering, whether it's from light stuff, from meditation through to heavy training, So I used to start off with something really light, and then I'd work into something heavy. Now I basically just do gentle stuff in the morning, and then heavier stuff more midday or late morning. So it's about incorporating it in with nature as well, because sometimes that's the key, is when we're trying to keep up with summer energy, which is, quite a strict and hard routine. In winter, when we're supposed to be hibernating, it's difficult. So, because they're contrary to each other, we actually really want to slow down. So in a day, if you work with that nature or those biorhythms of the day, then you'll find it easier. And then bringing yours in accordance and connecting them. So understanding what good times, key points for you when you like to move and do training, and then work it in. Now for me, not so much now, because I've made my work my play kind of thing, and my exercise and my movement. I teach Tai Chi, Qigong, and I add that into my training for the day. So I haven't done too much today, just a little bit of training, but tomorrow I have about 4 hours. That's including some teaching as well as some training, So that's the thing, is it balances out. And the day before, I did about 2 hours of training, and I just worked it in with my swimming. So normally the children would have swimming today, so would go and do some swimming, and then would do some exercises and movements together, Qigong movements. So it's really just, instead of sitting in the pool, which we would normally do, which we still get to do. And this is the special thing that Miri was saying about time, is that you just condense it. People say to me, how can you know all these different things? Is because I've condensed so many things into the time. So we'd go to the pools, where we would do the hot pools, and we'd just sit around, but then we'd also do 2 or 3 sets of a form. We'd do a karate form, we'd do a Tai Chi form. The children, they're not always into it, but we still get through it. And within time they'll understand, And then we may do some breathing exercises under the water and stuff like that, as well as, a little bit of a swim. So that's what I mean. All in that time, we're learning and practicing and keeping things going. But that's me, and I may be imposing it onto the children, but I do believe it's setting good standards for them for the future, and that ripples out, because you can kind of see my children barely get sick. We've actually had a couple of bouts this year of some head stuff, so I'm not quite too sure. I haven't calibrated what that is, how it fits in. But they barely get sick, and it shows, where you see a lot of, at the end of the year, they go, 98% attendance compared to other children and stuff like that. And I believe that's because of the way that we live. Not only good eating, but the key is movement. We do a lot of movement. It's just a part of our life. Incorporating it into your life is another thing, though. Start out simple. Like Miri said, small reps, short time, and then you might find, you say, I'm going to do 5 minutes of seated meditation, or I'm going to do 5 sets of different exercises for 5 reps. Then you find that in no time you're doing more, and it wasn't as hard as you expected. The hardest part is getting the snowball moving. Once the snowball's moving, it's easy. The hardest part is first getting the crank going, But once the crank goes, it's easy, and then you start to get the motion and the momentum, and it just goes. So those two analogies is the key, is just get started. And that's by starting simple, starting basic, saying, I'm just going to do a few minutes, or I'm just going to get up, you know. I'm just going to get up and have some water, and then I'm going to do nice and light today. I'm just going to sit, and then tomorrow I'm going to do extra reps. So that's the best way to really get into it. I think I'm quite far down the track that sometimes it's just a part of my life, you know. There were times I was training 8 hours a day, you know, didn't bat a hat, you know. So that, yeah, and that was training, teaching others, and just doing a general practice when I thought, which was before, early in the morning and before bed, 2 key times to add it in. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Where can people catch you these days if they want to be a part of your classes or what it is that you're into? Because you also have a foundation in Rongoā.
Yeah, we're in Tauranga Moana, so pretty much anywhere in the Bay of Plenty, I'm going to reach out and touch, and I'm going to spread further and further out as more time comes. When we can work out schedules and cramming.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that you've got some other topics that you'd be keen to share as well. And I'm looking forward to hearing some of the knowledge that you have in terms of the relationship between food and energy. And there was something else that you mentioned that you'd be quite keen to share as well.
Like the elements and stuff like that, elements of food.
And, yeah, we're going to go deep, bro. We're going to go so deep. But we're also going to keep it short, sharp and shiny. So we will have that as a teaser for next time. And just for anyone that's interested to know what's coming up next, I've got a really cool friend, Kim Jackson, who works in mental health, who wants to talk about the importance of nutrition in terms of managing mental health as well, what she's observed in her industry, and also from the Māori perspective as well, the connectedness there and things like that. So she's actually in the middle of rehearsal. No, not rehearsal. She's finished rehearsal. She's performing at the moment. Her and her daughter are both in the musical production of Fiddler on the Roof in her little area. So I think they're in their second week now, and she's, if it was a Richmond, yeah, all that stuff. So that's what's going on for her right now, and she's all fiddlered out, just about. She's nearly there. So she's going to jump on, hopefully next time, and talk to us about that. And Tracy and I have come across some other really awesome speakers that we'd like to have on as well. We'd like to look at abundance in terms of home ownership or land ownership issues, or ways to jig your finances. We're also wanting to look at, I guess, just other little tips and tricks around healthy eating that you can apply every day, because that's what it is for people, is just getting back to what's that small thing I can do. I don't know if I can be fabulous straight away. You know, a lot of people are missing that belief. And even for someone like me who is quite motivated, quite outgoing, and has the knowledge base, it's still lacking in the application. It has to be quite simple for me to actually make that start and get that snowball going, as you called it, Mataora. So hopefully there's something there to tease and excite people into wanting to come along. And by all means, if you've enjoyed this and you want to be a part of it, please share it with your friends. Please share the recording if that's what you're watching, and tag people into our Whanau Freedom Project, because we really, really want to pull everyone in and share as much knowledge as we can. And for those of you that did come along, thank you again. And I'll pass it back to Tracy B so that she can do a bit of a wrap up for us.
Take myself off mute. Kia ora. Thanks, Miri, and thank you, Mataora. See, we have the best events, man, and the coolest knowledge. What I took from tonight was, hang on, Mataora's just put something in the chat. For children, key words are fast, crazy, irregular, and erratic. I'm going to get you to elaborate just a little bit on that. just a little bit. Take it away.
Yeah, so for example, they like, to be just all over the place. There was this, when I used to work at the kindergartens in Whitianga, you just get them to chase after you and run around and doing all sorts of motions and movements. So I'd incorporate yoga, Tai Chi and Qigong, and they just loved to, when you were crazy, loud noises to really capture their attention, be louder than the TV and more colorful than the TV, and you've got them.
Oh, I love that one. That's a good one. Thanks, Mataora. Yeah, that was, for me, my little girl Ruby, I'm a massive yoga fan. I love yoga. That's just you don't have to bribe me to go to a yoga class. It's like, yeah, man, I'm down for that. But you get me to go for a run or go to the gym, I'm just like, no, I'm really, really busy. I'm busy that day. Back in the day, I used to do a lot of that stuff and the pounding the pavements and the lifting the weights and all of that. But I think, yeah, just as I got older, I just had to take more care of myself and just, yeah, just was not my jam as I got older. And I will admit, Miri tried to get me to do one of the challenges and I piped out. I'm sorry, babe. If it had been like 100 downward dogs, I would have been down for that. But yeah, it's just, I think something that's really important when you are thinking about doing some kind of movement is making sure it's something that you love. Like something that, you just really connect with and you just can't wait to do. As with Mataora, karate, yeah, man, he'll do it for 8 hours. If I could do yoga for 8 hours, I would, man, I seriously would. I dream about it at night. So I think it's really important you find something that you really like, even if it's a walk in the park to begin with or whatever, just baby steps. So yeah, and thanks Mataora for that. And I really do look forward to our future koreros because, and like Miri said, we can go on a deeper level. Like this is also superficial, which is great, and it's all baby steps. And as you learn more about yourself and health and the mind and all of that kind of stuff, you do get deeper, and it's so fascinating to see how amazing and conscious beings we really truly are. So I'm looking forward to the future episodes with you, Mataora. So thank you very much for tonight. Kia ora. And thanks everyone for joining. Thanks all of you who came on tonight. And for those of you who are watching the recording, if you want to hook up with Mataora, if you scroll on my Whole Food Māori Girl page, he's highlighted in there. You'll be able to click on, bro, you're going to get heaps of inboxes now. You can just ask him heaps of questions. If you want to chat with Miri as well, you can find her on my Whole Food Māori Girl page. I'm always putting Miri stuff on my page, so you can also inbox her and pick her brain as well. But Miri's going to be on these events with me all the time because this is our jam. So like she said, if you love this, please share it and share it with those who you think would really benefit. And we do this every fortnight, same time, same place. If you just watch the page, we'll be plugging it for the next time. So with that said, we'll quickly do a karakia to close, and then I'll let you guys all go. E te atua manaki te ama... Why do I keep forgetting that part? E te atua manaki te ama mātou I tēnei pō. O mai ki mātou te kaha mea te karoria. Ake, amene. We got there, guys. Kia ora, I'm going to take you all off mute and you can all say ka kite anō.
Ka kite pomari e.
Ka kite.
Bye, Anna. Where's Matunga?
Just shut off too.
Oh, he shot off.